Imagine opening your eyes on any given morning, looking out the window of a tiny house, lost in the middle of a vast, empty countryside, and discovering that the land everyone looked down upon is now worth more than giant real estate properties. That is exactly what happened to me. And it all started with 10 piglets, small animals no one believed could change my life forever. Today, I will tell you in detail how those 10 pigs turned my barren land into a real gold mine. I will show you what I discovered living in the countryside. Raising them with my own hands, learning every day amidst mud, fatigue, fear, and hope. Into a real gold mine. I will show you what I discovered living in the countryside. Before we continue, please click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because what is coming next might forever change how you view backyard pig farming. Maybe you have a small piece of abandoned land, and you think it's useless. But tell me one thing. What if the treasure you are looking for is right in front of your eyes? I remember that day as if it were yesterday. It was a cloudy Thursday, the kind of weather where the sky feels heavy on your head. I stood behind the house, looking at the dry, hard, rocky land. It was the kind of soil anyone would say. Couldn't even grow weeds. I stood there, silently asking myself, my God, what can I do? I had tried planting everything. I sowed corn, but the plants grew weak. I tried cassava, but the roots were worthless. I planted beans, but they withered. Nothing brought me the income needed to support my family decently. It was at that moment, when I was almost in despair, that an elderly man approached me. He was one of those people who understood the land like the back of his hand. He stared at the ground, then looked into my eyes and said words that echoed for weeks.
Son, you are looking at gold and not realizing it.
Because what truly makes money in this countryside is not what you plant, but what you raise. Those words changed me. I had almost no savings, just a tiny bit to not feel lost. But I gathered everything I had and went to buy 10 tiny piglets, still young. When I brought them home, my wife almost went crazy. She said I had lost my mind. And I confess that night I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at the ceiling. But the next day, I woke up very early to care for those 10 little creatures. And that was when the first great secret truly began. At first, I believed pigs were dirty, clumsy animals, born only to eat scraps. But just a few days with those 10 piglets was enough to shatter that belief. The first big secret I discovered is this: pigs are not dirty animals.
On the contrary, they are among the most intelligent animals in nature.
They observe, learn, recognize their keeper's voice, and run to you when called. I started calling each piglet by a different name. At first, I felt embarrassed, but they responded. Some raised their heads first, others crowded closer. And one always came before all, as if it were the leader of the herd. Then I understood that I wasn't raising meat machines, but living creatures.
How many people lose money in the countryside just because they never stop to observe? Each piglet had a different personality. Some were braver, others were shyer.
There was a leader always getting into everything, and another that loved mud. Seeing that, I understood that raising pigs is not just throwing food in a corner. It is observation, listening to the sounds, noticing when one eats less. That attention, which many consider a waste of time, made the difference. While some neighbors lost animals to disease, my pigs grew strong and healthy. They had a shiny coat that only well-cared-for animals have.
I realized I didn't need magic. I needed consistency, cleanliness, and fresh water.
Because animals feel when they are neglected, and when someone cares. And isn't that why many agricultural businesses fail? Not for lack of opportunity, but for lack of patience, respect, and humility. Day by day, my wife changed her mind. She no longer saw just costs. She saw life, movement, and opportunity. And I, every morning, before thinking about money, thought about caring for them. Because if they grew healthy, my family would also have a chance. That's when I learned a lesson. Profit is in the details. Gold is in dedication. Now, pay attention to what I am about to tell you, because many don't want you to know. When a pig is well nourished, with proper food and clean water, it grows fast. I am not talking about magic. I am talking about what I witnessed in my pen.
I learned that nutrition is the core. You can't just throw scraps on the ground. It requires organization. At home, I utilized scraps, banana leaves, cooked cassava. How much food is wasted daily without anyone imagining it could turn into money? The piglets transformed right before my eyes. Those small, fragile bodies grew sturdy. Their legs grew strong, their backs filled with meat, and the pen overflowed with life. I thought of the old man who told me gold wasn't in what I sowed, but what I raised. With each passing day, I understood his words better. In just a few months, they were ready.
And each can yield over 100 kilos of pure, high-quality, marketable meat.
Pork always has a guaranteed market in any small town, market, or butcher shop.
And when people understand this, they stop viewing pigs as an expense.
They start seeing them as a profitable investment. Now, think with me. If one pig can give you over 100 kilos, what happens when you multiply by 10?
That was when my thinking shifted completely. I no longer saw just mud and noise. I saw food on the table, bills paid, and my family breathing a little easier. Those 10 piglets, which at first seemed like madness, began to show results. But I also learned that money doesn't come to the careless. If they eat poorly, they grow slowly. If they live in stress, they won't perform. So every day I checked the feed. It wasn't easy work, but every kilo gained reminded me that effort brings future.
Because in the countryside, basic things done well are worth more than wild ideas.
If neglected, they bring loss. If cared for, they will slowly change your life.
But calm down, because the story doesn't stop at meat. This is where many are mistaken.
Welcome to the heart of our farm. It all starts here with the farmhouse, right next to the big red barn, and of course, the happy pig pen over there.
But over time, I discovered that pigs bring profit in multiple ways simultaneously. The first thing that changed my view was pig manure, which became the best fertilizer.
I started collecting it and using it for a small garden. The land began to revive,